Hello, Super Horror Family! Tonight we've taken over one of the scariest places in the world to bring you the creeps. Yes, this is where the president signs our tax dollars away. Tonight I'm joined by Roger and Supernatural Sammy. How are you doing, Sammy?
I'm excited.
Yeah?
Yeah, a night dedicated to horror babes to kick off the Halloween season. This is gonna be awesome.
I do love the horror babes. What about you, Roger? How are you doing today?
Present.
What?
True. False. Oh man, I don't know.
Okay. Good job, Roger. You did it, buddy. Horror babes carry horror season, and I mean all of them. Right at the center of so many horror stories is a great horror babe. Why, little girls are so scary they're even their own horror trope.
A young girl, around 7 or 8 years old, asked me to help her find her mother. So I turned off my voice recorder app, put my phone in my pocket, and left the abandoned building.
Once again, I was hiding my true feelings behind a mask. I only wish they could have seen my hysterical laughter as I swung the hammer. The doctor put me on strong medication because I hear voices. He apologized this morning when he heard them on the tape recorder.
So, Samantha, how long have you been hearing these voices?
Why can't he hear us?
They started a few months ago, after I got back from California.
It was the old vineyard.
Only smart people can hear us, Samantha. You're really smart. Tell him you're
You
smart,
should rip
Samantha.
your ears off.
Do you hear them right now?
Samantha, tell him you're
Yes.
smart. He's probably too dumb to hear us, Samantha. Tell him he's too dumb. We are secret. Let's be secret friends. Always secret friends, Samantha. Now, you might be saying, but Papa Bones, that stuff was just creepy. Does it really have anything to do with horror babes? Wouldn't you say that, Sammy?
No, I'm pretty sure it being women ups the ante.
Oh, what about you, Roger? Don't you think those were just creepy and maybe the horror babe part was not so important?
Nah, I'm with Sammy on this one.
Just say yes!
Whoa, okay, yes.
Oh yeah? Well, chew on this, idiot. If that first story had a little boy instead of a little girl, people would probably laugh at him for missing his mommy.
What?
Huh?
Yup. People love making fun of little boys at camp when they miss their mommies. Or because she dressed them weird. Or because he spits when he talks sometimes.
I don't think that's what happens.
Yes, it is. Roger knows. Tell her, Roger.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never seen that stuff happen. Wait, did that stuff happen to you?
Well, no, I just meant like,
Is that why you didn't like camping as a kid?
no!
Is that why you spit when you talk sometimes?
Son of a bitch! The second and third horror shorts wouldn't be shorts at all if not for the fact that they were women. A man hitting other men with the hammer is just an effective way to stop a mugger. No horror. You see petty criminals get these bad ideas stuck in their heads. That hammer can help get them out. Then, with all those bad ideas spilling onto the floor, they now have space for good ideas. And for that last one, the hammer's a solution again. No more pesky voices stuck in your head, or other thoughts or ideas.
Everything you've said here is wrong, stupid, and dangerous. You could get yourself killed.
Roger?
A dead man is still a man.
You're both idiots. The next two stories feature two of the most terrifying female criminals in history.
A man that was just called an idiot is still a man.
Myra Henley was called the most evil woman in Britain. In the 1960s, she assisted in the sexual assault and the murder of 5 children in what would come to be known as the Moors murders. Henley maintains that her abusive lover Ian Brady made her do it. Where does the truth lie? Henley grew up poor and was frequently beaten by her father. Her father encouraged her to use violence to solve conflicts outside the home as well. In 1961, Myra Henley met Ian Brady. Brady was a store clerk. She was working as a typist. She was obsessed with Brady, despite the fact that he had a criminal record. On their first date, Brady took Henley to watch a movie about the Nuremberg trials. Brady had a fascination with the Nazis. He and Henley would meet up on their lunch breaks and read to each other from a book about Nazi atrocities. Brady had a strong influence over Henley. She bleached her hair and started wearing dark lipstick to achieve the Aryan ideal look. Henley knew Brady was cruel and selfish, but something drew her to him. She desperately wanted him to love her. The pair spent their time together talking about committing crimes and imagining what they would do with the money. Brady included Henley in his plans to sexually assault and murder someone in order to test her loyalty. Their first victim was 16-year-old Pauline Reed. They took Pauline Reed to Saddleworth Moor, an isolated area 15 miles outside of Manchester. After they arrived, Henley offered up a ruse to get her away from the road and into the reeds. Once they were far enough away from the road, Brady sexually assaulted her. When he was done, he cut her throat. Then Brady and Henley buried Pauline Reed on the moor. They did this 2 more times. John Kilbride and Keith Bennett also fell into Henley and Brady's trap. Then, in December 1964, the couple would commit their most heinous crime. Ian Brady and Myra Henley convinced a young girl, Leslie Ann Downey, to help them unload groceries from their car after they found her alone at a fair. They abducted her, took her to Henley's grandmother's house. The young girl was undressed and bound up inside of the house. They recorded her as she begged for help and forced her to pose for pictures. Afterwards, like the 4 children before her, she was sexually assaulted and murdered. Their vicious killing spree came to an end in 1965. Ian Brady had moved in with Henley and her grandmother. David Smith was Henley's brother-in-law. He and Brady became close. One night, Smith came to the house for some wine bottles. While waiting for Brady, Smith heard Brady killing Edward Evans. Smith was in complete disbelief. He told Brady he would help remove and hide Evans' body. He didn't want Brady to view him as a liability. Smith went home and told his wife. The awe hadn't completely worn off yet. As nerve-wracking as it was, they knew they had to tell the authorities, so they reported the crime to the police. The couple was arrested on October 7th. Initially, they both insisted they were innocent, but police found a suitcase in a railway station with photographs and other evidence linking Brady and Henley to Downey's murder. A notebook with the name John Kilbride written on it was also found during a search of the house. Another thing found during the search were photos of Brady and Henley together at the Saddleworth Moor. Police searched the area and found both Downey and Kilbride's bodies. Brady and Henley were charged with 3 counts of murder. They were both found guilty. They received multiple life sentences for the Moors murders. In 1970, Henley broke off all contact with Brady, and in 1987, she admitted to her involvement in the murders. In 1998, Henley came clean about the abuse she had suffered while dating Brady. She wanted people to understand how she got involved, and why she was involved with him. She said he used to regularly threaten her and her family. A psychological assessment of Henley released to England's National Archive revealed that she felt a higher degree of responsibility than her partner because she said she knew better than Brady did. Myra Henley died in 2002 of respiratory failure. She was 60 years old. Humans have a knack for deceiving themselves when it's convenient. They justify their horrible acts by making them look like they were for the greater good. They will even go as far as to justify murder by making it seem like they were just trying to protect the innocent. As long as the world accepts these justifications, their deception remains intact. If humans can justify murder, how much easier is it to justify treating someone poorly? During the 1600s, there was no course of action for wives of violent men. Women were considered property. If your husband was kind, your life was good, and if he wasn't, you were expected to endure the abuse. But for a time in Rome, there was a way out for these women. A person that could free you from your marriage prison. Julia Tafana, the Queen of Poison. Julia was born in Palermo in 1620. In the year 1633, her mother, Tafana de Amado, was executed for poisoning and murdering her husband. It is rumored Julia received her mother's best poison recipe before her execution. Whether it's true or not isn't of great significance. Julia was very skilled at crafting poisons. Julia eventually made her way to Rome with her daughter, where she ran an apothecary shop. On the surface, Julia Tafana was a kind woman that made cosmetics and ran the shop. But her shop served as the headquarters for her underground poison business. It was a tight-knit group, consisting of her daughter, a few associates, and some even say a priest. The apothecary shop was an excellent cover for a shop that sold poisons to women. Her shop not only sold the usual potions and medicines, which were said to be able to cure anything from a broken heart to a nosebleed, but also sold cosmetics she made, providing a perfect place to hide her poisons. Julia kept her eyes open, looking for women that appeared to be mistreated. It wasn't difficult. Abused women can often be spotted not only because of the physical signs of abuse, but would often appear physically ill, because they're constantly stressed, anxious, and emotionally traumatized. Women that matched these symptoms would naturally go to the apothecary anyways, and a husband was none the wiser when he saw his wife leave with a bottle or two. When she found a woman she thought needed her help, Julia would go out of her way to befriend her. She was very careful about her poisons business. Only women that were her friends, or friends of past clients, were ever offered her special potion. The now famous poison, Aqua Tafana. Aqua Tafana was packaged in a bottle labeled Manna of St. Nicholas of Bari. This was a common healing ointment for blemishes, so it blended in perfectly with other beauty products a woman would have. But instead of having the normal ingredients, Aqua Tafana was made of lead, arsenic, and belladonna, more commonly known as deadly nightshade. One of the most attractive things about Aqua Tafana was the sneaky way it killed its victims. The first dose of the poison would make the victim feel exhausted, forcing them to lay down. The second dose would be more powerful, and would cause stomach aches, vomiting, and dysentery. The third or fourth dose would finish the job. Because of how the poison worked, no one was the wiser. It looked like the husband became sick and died. The time between the first and final dose allowed the husband to get his affairs in order, and a big part of that was usually making sure his wife would be taken care of. Julia was able to sell her poisons without being detected, and her clients were free of suspicion. Operating this way, Julia Tafana and her Aqua Tafana are credited with killing over 600 men. So how did Julia Tafana get caught? One night, a woman who procured Aqua Tafana to free herself of her husband got cold feet. After mixing a few drops of the deadly poison into her husband's soup, she became overwhelmed with guilt. She panicked and begged him not to eat it. By engaging in this strange behavior, she unintentionally revealed something was seriously wrong. Her husband demanded to know what was going on. It was only a matter of time before she told her husband about the criminal activities of Julia and her network of poisoners. After hearing this, her husband got the police involved, who immediately went to apprehend Julia. But when they arrived, she wasn't there. Julia had many friends, some of whom were powerful. One of them sent word to Julia that she was in danger, and Julia immediately fled to a local church and was granted sanctuary. This worked until a rumor was circulated that she poisoned the water supply with Aqua Tafana. She was handed over to the authorities. Julia was interrogated and tortured before her daughter, and some of her closest associates were put to death. It was during the interrogation Julia confessed to being involved in the deaths of over 600 men. That number might not be accurate, given that her confession came under pressure, but after her death, dozens of lower-class women were put to death for taking part in killing their husbands, and many upper-class women were jailed or banished. If Julia is credited with over 600 deaths, it would actually make her the most successful assassin in history.
Well, I'm glad we have divorce court now. It's way better than getting killed.
That's what you got from this?
He's right. I'd hate to be murdered.
Do you think they have to say all the things you did wrong out loud in divorce court?
All the things I did wrong? Like what?
Well, like, if you were mean, or couldn't keep a job, or became fat, do you think they have to say all the reasons out loud? And then that person has to write it all down? And then people can read all the things your ex-wife said?
You know what? I take it back. I'm with you, Sammy. I'd rather be poisoned and killed.
That's not what I said.
Listen, Sammy. You can't just come out here trying to kill men, then when the men are into it, you change your mind and decide instead to embarrass them in public.
I never said any of that.
Fine, whatever. Roger, make sure we don't have any hammers or poisons around. Before we talk about one of the most famous horror-bait monsters in history, the Sirens, Roger is going to read a quick message for you all. Roger?
I don't know how to use your phone.
Just read it, Roger.
Okay. It says, "Come on, baby, make my nipples hard. Let's go."
Oh no, that's the wrong message.
It says Horror Babe Sheila is typing something back. Should I read it?
Shut up! Okay, Roger, just read what's on the paper and we'll be fine.
Now?
Yes?
Oh, okay. Hello, Super Horror Family. What if you could always be reminded of the special time we have together? Well, now you can with the official Super Horror Show calendar. Month after month of awesome pictures created by Papa Bones and Supernatural Sammy. Printing and shipping will take some time, so order now. Just PayPal $20 to the email address on screen and in the comment box right for the calendar. If you have some horror-loving friends, this calendar would make a great gift. Order a few. But hurry, the price will go up to $25 on November 1st.
Okay, back to the show. Sirens. In Greek mythology, the sirens were woman-like beings with alluring voices. The name siren appears to be connected to a word used for rope, which could be used to describe how sirens use their song to bind or entangle their intended prey. In the beginning, sirens were represented as large birds with women's heads. Nowadays, sirens are most often depicted as mermaids, encouraging sailors to leave the safety of their ships and enter the water. If a sailor could not resist the temptation, he would be dragged down to the deepest parts of the ocean and eaten. Sirens continue to be used to this day as a symbol for the dangerous temptation embodied by women. Ancient horror babes. So Sammy, do you think they'd get you?
No.
What about you, Roger?
No way.
Oh yeah? What if I told you guys I wrote the perfect siren song that might get us trapped? Ahem. We have free donuts. We have free donuts. Roger, wouldn't you like a donut? They are free, and they are donuts.
I'm in.
Yes, they are free, and they are donuts. And that's how they got Roger.
You know that stupidity isn't gonna work on me.
Well, try this one on for size, Supernatural Sammy. Ahem. We have no taxes. That's right, no taxes. And everything is so peaceful and quiet under the sea.
I mean, that stuff sounds good, but...
No taxes. There are no taxes. And things are so quiet under the sea. So you can decide if you want to pay taxes. Just don't come in the water with me. 'Cause there are no taxes at the bottom of the sea.
Okay, smart guy. What would they sing to get you in the water?
Sing? I'm surrounded by horror babes. I'm in. What if there are more horror babes in the water? I gotta go check it out. It's the responsible thing to do. Well, that's it for this week, Super Horror family. Thank you so much for any super chats, super thanks, and Patreons. And thank you if you're considering picking up a calendar to help support the channel. Until next time, horror babes, eat, drink, and be scary.